Hello and good evening or afternoon, as the case may be. Coming to you remote this time from my glorious rental car, middle of nowhere, on site with customers. So apologize for any distractions that come up, guys. I might have some people waving at me. I might have random wildlife coming at me, but I should be safe in my car. I'm John, founder of WIO Support. What's that?
No grizzlies, right?
I sincerely hope not, but hey, who knows?
Keep the doors locked.
That's a good idea.
Or you could invite them in and maybe they'll leave you alone.
No, let's not find out.
As long as you have some snacks.
That might be what they're after.
Well, just give them what they want.
Throw it out the window. Well, Jackson, tell us about you real quick.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jackson. I don't know what else you'd like to hear. School's over, so that's nice. Into my summertime happiness.
That's right. You got the end of college happening, so you're kind of you're semi-free.
Yes, I am. I'm just in new how do you say, under new management.
That's awesome. Well, Mike, it's been a while since you got out of college.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I remember the first time I went to college, I couldn't wait to get out, and I got out, and I thought, I need to go back. And I thought, man, I missed this. This was great, being in college. And then it got old after a while, so I got out again. But yeah, it's kind of nice when you get out, because then it's like, focus on one thing, work, family, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You got any advice for Jackson on his summertime respite?
Don't play too hard, and don't let your brain go to mush, because that makes the fall semester start a lot harder.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, how about you, Artie? You did college for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, advice for school, I would just say, find something that is in your field that isn't going to be a burden on yourself during the summer, so that you can just like gradually read up on something before the next semester, so that you're still in the loop, but you're not completely out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a good thing. I've got a list of summer projects I've got to get started. One of them is trying to make a little prototype lightsaber. Actually made some progress on it today. That was kind of fun. But yeah, I always like to fit in little projects. If you're not learning something, then I don't know, what's the point?
I agree to that.
Every day,
try and learn something new.
Yeah. If you learn something new every day, that's a day that's not wasted.
Words of advice. Sage words of advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of made my mantra is I will learn something every day, no matter what. Just even if I'm sick, there's something I'm going to learn that day. Sometimes it's what's the doctor's phone number, or
you can make
what's a maximum dose of this cold medicine I got to take. But hey, I learned it.
Or it takes you exactly 12 steps to get from the bed to the toilet.
Yeah, I don't want to put that image in everybody's minds, guys. Just rather go for doses of drug. Anyways, rather than talking about drugs, that's my bad. I took us that way.
Podcast, I
remember. That's on me. I took us down a dark path. Mike, bring us back. Get us back in a happier
Viewers
territory.
can send their correspondence to. Oh, anyway.
Comment below, right?
Yeah, I just got over being sick. I'm done with that. I don't want to talk about being sick anymore. It was not fun. And it was really weird because it was like a 2-week deal that, like, I don't know, just took me a long time to get over. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. It just takes me longer to get over stuff. But otherwise, what's going on in the computing world and IT world this week?
Jackson, you had a couple articles in the pre-show.
Yeah, well, this is coming from Reuters or Reuters. I don't know how you're supposed to say
Reuters.
Reuters.
Thank you. There it is.
We stand corrected. I didn't know either, Jackson.
They probably are. Are they? Where are they based? The UK? That would make sense if they say everything wrong. But this article talking about Apple and Meta were fined just recently by the European Union. Oh, talking is hard today. Apple was fined 500 million euros and Meta was fined 200 million euros as European antitrust regulators handed out the first sanctions. So, and this is going under antitrust legislation. So that kind of covers a lot of things. And I know might even be a month or two ago, we talked about how the EU was trying to get into Apple's data, user data, essentially, by allowing them a backdoor. And so there's been a lot of legislation kind of going around regarding them. But what this article was specifically talking about was antitrust things. So that's like talking about how a similar case would be Google and having their having a monopoly over search engines, or how Google Chrome and all the Google apps are kind of mandatory on Android devices. One of the things that the EU was going after Apple was the App Store, although I know Apple's made some changes, so I'm not sure exactly where they pinned them after these changes. But the idea that if you want to install an app on an iPhone or an iPad at that, it requires you to go through the Apple App Store. You're not allowed third-party app stores. And so I think it was going along those lines, although I might have to do a little bit more digging here to figure out exactly what it was they pinned them on.
What it looks
But that's
like
kind of the idea.
is that there is a steering rule in their legislation that allows for app developers to say, hey, you can also install it from our website or from this other source. And Apple was pretty much blocking that measure, preventing people from doing that.
So I guess
Well,
I'd like to know the whys. Why would you be for that? Why would you be against that?
Well, let's go back just a little bit further than that. So Apple put 30% on transactions. You buy a thing, you pay them 30%. Do you know where that number came from?
No, where'd they pull that out of?
So back in the day when you're running warehouses or you're selling goods, the standard margin that business was running was you charge 30%, and that covers your overhead for your labor, your lights, the security system, the building you're in, rent, all that. That was to cover the overhead for your transaction. So you go to like a Best Buy, you're pretty much guaranteed to get 30% margin to Best Buy. Now that's not what they operate on right now. Everything's broken since the internet came out. But just back in the day, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was generally a 30% margin. So Apple, and this is what shocks me, Apple carried that number forwards, but there's no margin justification. You're running 30%. It literally costs you 1/100th of that to operate the servers, the staff necessary, the cybersecurity professionals, the server maintenance, all of that. The amount of transactions are getting billions of dollars and it's only tens of millions of dollars to run that section of the company. They do other things, but you then take that money and subsidize other projects. But still, 30% is just, it's the wrong number. But they charge that, and that's what they've justified.
Isn't it also sort of the industry standard? Because I know that Google charges something like that. And
Yeah.
even like Valve, they've got like a 20 to 30% fee on anything that you sell on their platform, and that's just hosting it. So,
And that's what I'm saying is, back in the day, 30% was justified because you had the overhead that needed that, and then there's a comfortable margin for profit inside that as well. And there's no overhead for Valve. There's no overhead for Google. There is, but
Well, I'm
it's
trying to
not
think of maybe
30%.
what some of that overhead would be, and to justify. Well, I don't want to say justify, but what Apple's arguing, right? Their biggest thing is security. They're a privacy-centered company. They don't claim to be the first innovators or first anything. They usually wait. That's kind of their game plan is they wait, they sit back, and then they do it the Apple way. And what they try and argue, not that it's necessarily true, although I think in many cases it is, they are very privacy-centered and security-centered. And so I think where they would be saying that their overhead is coming from is, and this is true to a point, they have people that are going through and they're vetting these apps that they allow on the App Store to make sure that they're not malicious, and what it may be. Some of the other things that I can imagine.
I don't buy it. I hear that, but I don't buy it. Keep going.
Some of the other things that I might imagine they're also doing is, I guess what their selling point is, one, you get that outreach that you get with being on the App Store, or if you're Valve, you get the outreach that you get with being on Steam. Updates are going to be handled by them through their system rather than you having to push updates through your app. So I think those are their selling points. Now, whether or not that justifies the 30%, probably not. Most definitely not. It's a great margin, but I think those are some of the things we should consider when we're talking about what their margin is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's when you talk about those things that they do, Artie, what's Apple's App Store? What are they saying that is worth, and what is Valve? What do they transact?
I'll look that up.
50
Continue
billion,
talking.
100 billion. So, let's break that down. If you're hiring a team of security experts to build a system and scan all the apps in the App Store, let's say you get top line guys, $300,000 a year, and you get a team of 10 of those. That's $3 million a year. Okay, cool. And you get them the best of the best equipment. Okay, let's get them $1 million worth of servers and computers and industrial firewalls and all that stuff. Great. Now they're going to build an automated system, and it takes them a year to do that. So we're in it for 5-6 million, maybe.
Sure.
These guys are raking in billions, and 30% of billions. It's not proportional. I mean, if you had 100 developers working on this, it still wouldn't come close to the 30%.
Now, I'm curious though. It sounded like you said, and I think Artie's going to look this up. But is that margin particularly different from, say, Google or Valve or whoever? And if it's comparable,
but that's my point. Is these tech companies have charged brick and mortar box houses margins for digital deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a unique opportunity. It gives them a massive cash reserve to go do whatever they want. Let's say spin up AI. That investment is worth tens of billions of dollars, if not more. But the cash that they got, the margin doesn't make, it doesn't correlate. It's really just a cash grab. So that's where I've got a problem with it. Artie, did you find the numbers?
I found some numbers that these are taken from over different years, but
That's fine.
so
Can you give us a sense of the magnitude?
Valve generated around $13 billion in 2022.
Say that again,
Okay,
sorry.
so
They generated around $13 billion, and $10 billion of that was from Steam store revenue.
So
Hmm.
basically, they made $4 billion.
Outside of the store, they made $3 billion. With the with their profit that they take from you selling your game, they made $10 billion.
That's what I mean. So let's put those numbers together. That's the profit margin, or is that total revenue?
That 13 billion total revenue in 2022.
Okay, so let's just take that and put 30% on that. So 4 billion.
No. That is 30% of the. Never mind.
No. Okay. How much did they sell?
Yeah, I'm not
Was
seeing
it
the
total
total sale
gross?
numbers. I'm only seeing their profit.
Okay. So that's their. I got it.
So it would be about $24 billion in sales.
So if they made $10 billion, and I think we're losing something in the math here, guys. I don't want to go too far. Imagine the data center we could build for that money. I mean, we could build our own power plant to run the thing too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's almost
And
enough to
hire a
start
staff of
Half-Life
1,000
3.
people. It might be halfway there. Valve can't count to 3.
Okay, so I've done I just did a little bit of searching and from the base Google searching and various articles I found. Apple takes 30%, Steam takes 30%, and it looks like the Google Play Store takes 30% from purchases. Although it looked like Google maybe has different categories and levels of for different types of purchases. But it seems like 30% is the
Standard?
baseline, the standard, yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm also saying Walmart and Amazon. I'm talking the physical shipping of stuff.
I wonder what they take, and I wonder if there's any way to know. I'm sure it varies from product to product. I mean, they make deals.
Oh, it's cutthroat. It's absolutely cutthroat.
Yeah, it's got to be. So I think is that essentially where the legislation has gone? Then it's not a. Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're arguing then. Other than because Apple made that change, right? They said, okay, we'll allow you to install separate app stores, but we don't want you installing apps from the internet. And the EU didn't like that because they didn't like it. And so they got fined.
I mean, if I'm an app developer, I want to sideload my app into that device and play with it without having to go through all the rigmarole of becoming Apple vendor, Apple certified, and follow Apple. I want to do what I want to do to make that money. Send my app to my friends.
Right.
Why would I want
and I think then that's where you're hitting a wall where an Apple device is not what you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not like the people that are arguing for this, I agree with them, and I also agree with Apple because Apple's standpoint is we want to protect the user, we want to protect grandma who doesn't know what's going on from clicking a link on the internet and then getting an app downloaded on her phone that steals all of her data, right? And they do that by gatekeeping their app store, right? And they gatekeep what is allowed to be installed, what's allowed to be updated. On the other side, me, who say I'm a developer, and be like, oh, I like iPhone, I use iPhone, and I want to make an app for this, and I need to do some testing, so I just want to be able to sideload on my phone, and maybe a couple people, send it out in beta before I have to do all the work to even see if it's plausible to get myself, like you're saying, verified with Apple or verified with Google, and all of this stuff, And when we look at it from a computer, Windows and Linux, that's how you download software, is you just go get it online. So it's not like it's a foreign idea, but it's something that I guess you have to draw the line with what do you allow, what do you not allow, and how are you going to back that up? And Apple backs it up by playing the security card and privacy card. And so I feel like I can agree with both sides, and I'm not sure if it's something that maybe necessarily needs to be legislated. I feel like it's almost a thing that just let the market decide, If
that works until you get 80% of the market. Apple doesn't have 80, but smartphones do.
Right.
Google and Apple, that's the lion's share right there.
And there's another thing that I feel is a facet in this. If you go back to like a few years, there was the lawsuit between Epic Games and Apple and Google because they had their in-app purchases in their store, and Apple and Google wanted their share from that as well. And when Epic tried to circumvent that for various games, they removed them from their stores. And
that's
which I
that
find
actually came down in Epic's favor.
Which is right, because if you
In the
think
US.
about it, when you download Amazon, right? Apple is not taking a cut from your Amazon purchases. You're purchasing something from Amazon. It's not from the Apple Store or whatever. So
unless Apple starts marketing different Amazon purchases to me, there's no reason they should take a cut. It's like Apple going in and saying, okay, now we're going to advertise all the DLC for this particular game. If you're going to put efforts into helping me market my game and gain people to purchase more content, then fine, yeah, I will give you a little bit of piece of the pie. But if it's all within my game that I developed and I designed, then I should be the one that makes the money off that.
Well, and I like Epic's perspective that we wrote the game. It's an in-game purchase. Apple didn't facilitate a thing. Why should we pay them for just having license of putting it on the smartphone?
Because it ran on their hardware.
Yeah.
I mean,
I honestly think that has been the crux of a lot of these laws is that lawsuit was sort of the tipping point.
It's like, what benefit does 30% bring? A box store, great. I go to Walmart, I buy a TV. They pull it from the warehouse, they put it on the floor, paying somebody to do that. I go through the checkout, you're paying the cashier to do the transaction. Thank goodness they brought cashiers back. I hate the self-checkout kiosks.
And I hate that they've integrated. When are they going to update the cameras? That sit there and stare down at you, and it can't tell when I've scanned something and put it in the cart, and then it's like, keeps you from doing anything, and you have to wait for somebody to come by just so they can swipe their. Oh man, it drives me nuts. I don't even use the self checkout anymore. I honestly think it's slower. I'll just go through the line. It's fine.
I prefer the human interaction unless I'm buying one or two things.
Yes. Unless I can, if what I'm holding, or if what I'm purchasing I can hold in my hands, it's not worth it for me to go through the self checkout. It's more hassle and more of a pain. I just hate bagging it too. Like, that's why they hire people.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's my perspective. Why should I go grocery shopping or go to a store and do their job for them?
Yeah, I'm here. I
I'm
I
just
support.
waiting. I'm waiting for the
Go ahead.
self checkout kiosk to say, "Would you like to leave a tip?"
You want to give me a tip? How about a tip for me? Do you see how
15%.
fast I
Yes.
bagged all that?
Oh,
That would be
now here's where it gets good. The writers of the software that sold it to Walmart is now going to take their 30% cut of the tip.
Oh, oh, I forget which name it was, and I'll probably say it wrong if I do. There's a company that provides the payment devices at restaurants.
Yeah.
So that little kiosk thing sitting on your table.
Mhm.
Watch your receipts. Some of them put a service fee on there for the hardware.
Oh
The
wow.
server doesn't get it. The restaurant doesn't get it. It goes right to the company.
No, that's another huge thing that's been a lawsuit, and I've seen even it was in U.S. Congress. I think it was in a I don't remember, but they subpoenaed somebody up there, and I think it was like Capital One or whatever. And they have a total monopoly, and so they can charge some outrageous service fees just for like existing, just to be
Yeah.
used at a certain location.
I can name the company
That's
if you
a
want me
whole
to.
other.
Yeah.
So they were formerly known as Square Inc. and now they are Block Inc. And I'd guess that rebrand is because there's like Square Financial Services and other stuff. But
Everything's
yeah,
Square, Squarespace, Square
yeah,
purchasing. Yeah.
completely unrelated. So yeah, the devices that they set up, they are shipped with the tip active. You can't turn that feature off. You have to have it on, and that's why no matter where you go, like you pay at a bookstore that's using it, and it's like, do you want to leave a tip? It's like, why do I want to leave a tip? I'm patronizing the business.
Self checkout. Gotta leave a tip.
Yeah, it's like
If we were doing that, I would put it in a respectable number, like 2 or 3 cents per transaction, not $2 or $3.
yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
I
And
mean,
How do
I
you
bet
gouge
you
the
that's how
customers
they
then?
get.
well, how do you make your billions for no real effort? I guess that's my point with Apple and Google is 30%. Here I'm trashing Google. We're using YouTube. Great, good job, John.
They're not paying attention.
It's one of those frightening things that there's so much revenue there that now it's a stream of cash that you get in the way of. Now you're threatening the profitability. If you went from $2 to 2 cents, you just took like Valve with $13 billion profit. Now it's $1.3 billion profit. Investors freak out. People that need the money freak out.
Not
Do they
need
need the
money,
money?
want money.
We all need money.
We need it, but there's excess.
You should like and subscribe. We're not even close to $1 billion, guys. Like and subscribe. We're trying to get there. We promise to be good, not evil.
Can't comprehend $1 billion.
What's that?
I can't even comprehend $1 billion.
I know.
Like
I just.
I'm up for the challenge.
I
I would
even
love to find out what it's like.
Try me.
I mean,
Yeah.
I am now accepting research grants so that I can learn what it means to comprehend $1 billion. Please help me in my
If
endeavors.
anybody
I'd
out
love to
there
see what the impact
wants
on
to
a single
donate to
person's life
research,
would be.
we can figure out how to spend down $1 billion as quickly as we can. So please donate.
Start a GoFundMe.
We're going for the world record on GoFundMe.
So what's terrible about that is I think in today's society people might just do that just for fun. Just that's the sensationalized society we live in. I think would go for that. unfortunately. Like, you guys remember the egg on Instagram that had got the most likes ever? I don't even know if it's ever been beat. Do you
I
guys ever see
never
that?
heard of that.
I
So I
remember the
think
potato salad on
Pers-
GoFundMe.
yeah, I'm not an Instagram person, so
I don't use it anymore, but several years ago, I think it was like a big thing where I think it was like Kim Kardashian had the most like picture on Instagram like ever. Yeah. Artie, you want to look this up while I'm talking about it? See if we can find what the numbers were, because I mean, the egg destroyed this record. And so then somebody made an account just called World Record Egg. It only had one profile photo of an egg and one post of an egg. It was just like literally just a white background, brown egg. And the caption was, the current world record of the most liked photos, Kim Kardashian. I bet we can beat her with an
Kylie
egg.
Jenner.
Kylie Jenner, that's who it was.
Let's set a world record together and get the most liked post on Instagram, beating the current world record held by Kylie Jenner. We got this.
Okay, what was Kylie Jenner's most liked photo? What was the number?
18 million.
Okay, what is the egg at?
So on January 4th, 2019, the record was the 18 million, and by March 2019, the post had accumulated over 53.3 million likes.
And it's literally an egg. That's all it is. There's no point. And I think since that page has been turned into like how they do, they turn it into a money making thing. But
and the account was sold for 7 figures.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
my gosh.
Can you imagine?
Did Apple get 30% of that?
Why didn't I think of that?
It's
Jeez.
Instagram, so Meta probably not.
No,
They only got
I mean,
22%.
like, can you imagine? I'm just thinking, like, as a I think I was in high school at the time. And that must have been my junior or whatever. But I mean, like, as a high school student, imagine I have some friends, and we're all stupid, and we like stupid things, and this is a stupid thing. So you become a multimillionaire from a stupid Instagram post. So that just blows my mind. But that's the type of society we live in nowadays, and I think that's kind of an underlying back burner to kind of everything we've been talking about today. Is everything becomes a trend.
Yep.
And that's where the money's at.
It takes a very special person to do it twice.
You don't even need to do it twice. 7 figures?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like playing the lottery. You stumble across an idea and it goes viral, you win.
Yeah,
do it twice. Not going to happen.
Look at some of the things that have happened on the internet. I know 2 of you know what the $1 million homepage was. Do you know what that was, Jackson?
What was it? $2 million homepage?
The $1 million homepage.
No.
So way back, what was it, like 2000 or so? Guy gets the idea to create a web page and sell pixel space. And you had to buy a 10 by 10 pixel, so it's $100. And it was a lifetime purchase for advertising on that page. So it was, 10,000 pixels by 10,000 pixels? So $1 million worth. And
yeah, 1 million pixels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
$1 per pixel.
Mm-hmm. Minimum 10 by 10.
Yeah, it's still up.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at it. What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to.
The guy that did that basically made $1 million from selling space, and it got picked up by news agencies. Hey, this is a great thing. But there was also something that I was on the tip of my tongue, and I just forgot it.
You guys are sitting behind the Atom firewall right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be sure, because who knows where those ads are going.
Yeah,
I'm not clicking on them. I see certain logos that I know what those logos are for. And I'm not going to click on anything. I'm just looking at, man, putting all that together.
But yeah, somebody spent $100 or $1,000 to get an ad on that web page. It's still up 20 years later.
That's crazy.
At what point did he completely
Like-
sell it out?
Within a year, I believe.
Well,
Huh.
here's a question: why wouldn't he expand it? I
He
guess
only
then you
wanted
kind
the $1
of
million, I suppose.
inflation. Yeah, I guess.
The other one
Then
that
you
I was
have
thinking
I mean,
of.
inflation.
Come on, Jackson, don't be greedy.
So
You
the other
know-
one that I was thinking of was,
What a brilliant idea.
do you know the trade guy, where he traded a paperclip to somebody else and eventually got up to a house?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of that one too.
I think
So-
I watched that video. It's an old one.
Yeah. You don't have to have a good idea. You just have to have a novel idea.
Mm-hmm. People like
And then you've got to
novelty.
spread that idea and make sure you get eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd say that you could still do the paperclip idea right now. If you do the hustle, if you go around and you push your mind, you push your body, you push the circumstance, you can achieve most anything in America. That's what I love the most. Hard work pays off, but it's not just hard work. It's you got to put your mind towards it too.
Yeah.
I had an acquaintance that was in a business class, and part of the class, just flat out business 101 kind of thing. This guy was an entrepreneur. He started several companies that all of us know the names of. I can't share it because it's not my story. But you have to take $50 and turn it into $5,000 by the end of the quarter.
Okay.
And he only had one person ever not do it, not achieve that. Everybody in the class was able to flip $50 into $5,000 with their little business ventures that they start as part of the class.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of impressive.
It's
Now, did he-
persistence.
Did
It's
you say he taught the
tenacity.
class, or he was part of the
Mhm.
class? Okay. Wow.
So my acquaintance was part of the class. Told me lots about it, and I don't know if he was supposed to. I don't know if there's NDAs involved. That's why I'm being very vague on this. But just the idea of how to push and get 100x in 9 weeks. That's just cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like I'm surrounded currently by a lot of that abnormally. BYU has a pretty decent business school, and so I hear and I see lots of things like that. These businesses, these startups that kind of take off, and I think a lot of them die because they sell them to somebody else, or they just they let it die because that's not their thing. But yeah, it's an incredible thing that is very possible, and I think unique to the United States, especially. That I think we're very lucky to live around.
Well, and I mean, that's also the culture that bred the 30% margin, which then turned into the IT companies charging 30% margin, which then leads to antitrust because they've got an endless supply of cash.
I see how we've come full circle.
Yep. Oh, here's another full
how you did
circle.
that.
Like, we all know the richest man in the world, right? We know him by name. Not going to say it. Just don't want to go there. We are closer to the $1 billion mark than he is.
Oh man.
But it is easier for him to reach the $1 billion mark than we.
True.
That's true.
I don't
That's
know.
funny.
I mean, when you get to that point, like you're so entrenched into your systems, could you downsize yourself? I think we could scale up probably
Oh.
easier than he could downsize.
I could downsize really
Pretty
easily.
easy to empty a bank account, I think. I mean,
I don't know.
hear me out. I think this is maybe another experiment we should run. Let's have a meeting with them and say, listen, we'd love to run the experiment where you drain your bank account specifically to us, and we'll see what it's like. If you to take that kind of money where where it can be put to use.
Well, I mean, think about this. If you had a year to spend $1 billion, could you do it?
Oh, I would find a way to do it.
No yachts,
No gambling.
no gambling. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, you can't just put limits on me like that.
No single. How about this? No single purchase over $1 million.
Yeah, you can do that. Easy. I just gotta find like
Go buy
a
1,000 houses and rent them.
Yeah.
But then you're not giving away the money. You're not burning that cash. You're not spending it.
No, yeah, you gotta find.
Now you're reinvesting.
Yeah.
Okay. $1 million worth of Kit Kats, and then finish them all before the end of the week.
And then spend the rest of the money fighting diabetes.
Yep.
And probably 100 other health problems you end up with. Jeez.
What? Kit Kats are healthy. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how I got
You
scurvy.
eat
All I've been eating are
anything.
Kit Kats.
I like a good Kit Kat every now and then myself, but I don't know if I could eat $1 million worth in 1 week.
Okay, so do you guys know what LD50 is?
Mm-mm.
It's the amount of something you could take before it kills 50% of the people that would take that amount.
Median lethal
So-
dose.
Lethal dose. LD50. I wonder what the LD50 is of a Kit Kat.
Do you think they have someone? I'm gonna look this up.
Okay, how about this? $1 million for one giant Kit Kat.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
$1 million for one giant Kit Kat.
They have that. That's the thing.
That's a big Kit Kat.
They don't, but try to make one. How many layers? No, it's not big. It's just long.
Jackson's deep in thought here, guys.
I'm. So there's
Trying
not
to
a
find the
rating.
LD50 of Kit Kat.
There's not a rating for a Kit Kat, but somebody did a like a Halloween candy research thing, and
There you go.
they did it with the LD50 model. So here, I'll just read you this little thing that's coming from B101. No idea how credible this source is, but we'll take their word for it.
It's on the internet. It must be true.
Of course, that is the first thing that came up. Google says it so I'll believe it. So here they go. This is okay. Well, again, they say it's coming from the American Chemical Society. So they did research, and they say that the LD50 model, median lethal dose of sucrose, aka sugar, that you could ingest, 13.5 grams per pound is LD. So what does that mean? Oh, so if you weigh 180 pounds, then if you were to eat 2,440 grams or 5.5 pounds of sugar, that's the LD50 of candy. That doesn't seem like that much. 5.5 pounds?
5.5 pounds. That's actually quite a bit. That's
Well, that's pure
probably-
sugar, I guess.
probably half a pillowcase full of candy.
Yeah.
One whole
I bet
pillowcase.
I bet you there's people that have done that and survived. Not myself. I would not do that. But I think the
The Jolly Ranchers would slow me down.
So
Just thinking about all
weld
the
your teeth
sugars.
together.
Just dump them all in a blender and hit frappe.
Yeah, I can feel my nervous system starting to twitch just talking about all this sugar. Good grief.
So I did a little a look up myself. So if you just take the toxicity of chocolate, if we say an average human weighs about 165 pounds, you would need to eat about 75,000 milligrams of theobromine, which is a chemical within chocolate that is considered that can kill us.
Hmm.
So it'd be
Is that the
711.
same chemical that induces feelings of love?
I don't know, but it's approximately
Love pills.
711 regular-sized Hershey's bars would be a lethal dose,
700.
or a
This
little
is-
bit over 7,000 kisses.
This is fun. I don't know if we want to go down this rabbit hole, but I found
Oh,
a
we're
chart.
there.
Well, it's about to get better. I found a chart.
Awesome.
The lethal doses of 55 substances, starting from the least lethal to the most lethal. Do you want me to go through these? This is kind of fun, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
We're
starting
here.
with
We might as well.
starting with water as our least toxic. We're looking at 90,000 milligrams per kilogram. So per your weight, or 90 grams a kilogram. Then you go to sucrose, or sugar, which is 27 or 29.7 grams a kilogram. Then you have MSG, which is 16.6 grams a kilogram. I'm going to skip some of these. Gasoline is actually, you can consume quite a bit of gasoline, 14 grams a kilogram. Gasoline is less less toxic than
Don't
both vitamin
smoke
C.
and drink gas. Oh my goodness.
There's other concerns to be had there besides the toxicity of gasoline.
Yeah, don't take this.
Don't drink
for,
gas, guys.
Won't the vapors suffocate you before you even consume enough? I mean, good grief.
Probably, definitely. Then you have vitamin C and lactose, which come next at 11.9 and 10 grams a kilogram. Then we've
Vitamin
got
C, really?
Aspartame.
Aspartame. Yep. Artie, did you find the same chart?
Yep.
Yeah, 10 grams a kilogram. What are some other fun ones here? Ethanol, 7.06 grams a kilogram.
Salt.
Salt, 3 grams a kilogram. THC, 1.27 grams a kilogram. CBD
It
is
hasn't
right
got
after that.
Cheech and Chong yet, so we're good.
Methanol at 0.81 grams a kilogram. Ibuprofen at 0.636 grams a kilogram. Formaldehyde at 0.6. What else do we got?
Aspirin.
Hydrochloric acid. Where was aspirin? Did I skip it?
No.
Oh, down there, yeah. 0.2 grams a kilogram for aspirin. Caffeine. Oh, this is interesting. 0.192 grams a kilogram.
Yup.
So
Caffeine
how much?
is not healthy for you.
Yeah, wow, I wonder how many monsters
Uranium.
you got down.
Oh,
Uranium.
there was a restaurant chain that got in trouble because they were doing caffeinated lemonade. And
yeah.
Really?
yeah, it was heavy caffeine, and they didn't advertise it well. There was people that full on heart attack.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Like
Yikes.
7 deaths, I think,
Yep.
directly related to them.
And that's
So they,
see, I don't think that's even considered in lethal dose. Like, like a reaction to that may not even be considered. So
Well, these were people that could have caffeine. It was just that they weren't like 4 or 5 times the amount that you'd get in a Monster in half the liquid.
yikes. Yikes. You have going down. So now you hit uranium, which is not that far in front of caffeine at 0.114 grams a kilogram. So 114 milligrams. Cocaine at 96 milligrams. I'm just going to switch to milligrams. That's easier. What else do we got? Methamphetamine, 57 milligrams. Sodium
Capsaicin.
fluoride. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Look, these two are nice. Sodium fluoride's next after methamphetamine at 52 milligrams. So, yeah, don't swallow your toothpaste. Yeah, how do you say that, Artie?
Capsaicin.
capsaicin.
Capsaicin. So, that's like spice.
It's what makes spice spicy.
Yeah. At
What makes pepper spicy?
47.2.
Pure capsaicin is an interesting thing.
Did I just hear that uranium was healthier than cocaine?
Nicotine.
This is getting good.
And jalapenos, apparently.
Okay, wait, get this. You can oversaturate yourself on vitamin D3 pretty easy at
Yeah, that is
37
a
milligrams
crazy
a
one.
kilogram. So, yeah.
if you take supplements, the bottles say not more than one a day. I think.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Now,
No,
here's
if
one for
anything's
you.
to be learned here, take your medication measurements seriously.
Arsenic
Yeah.
is healthier than nicotine, according to this. Less likely to kill you than nicotine.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
wouldn't say healthy. I would say less lethal. How about that?
Okay, less lethal.
Fentanyl at 300 microgram, or that's not micro. It's micro, right? Micrograms.
Yes.
The mu. Yeah, 300 micrograms. You've got, I don't know what else is interesting here. Inland tapin venom. So it's a snake.
That's the most venomous snake in the world.
Yikes! Oh,
But it's not the most lethal thing.
A box jellyfish will beat that.
Wow.
Is at 5
micrograms.
Thank you. Then you have do you guys ever have black widows around?
Yes.
You ever see those?
We have them here in Wyoming, I think.
When I grew up in Arkansas, I used to see those things all the time. And they are quite high on this list at 4.3 micrograms a kilogram. Then you've got a dart frog, and you've got, I don't know what else is interesting up here. A lot of these things I don't even know what they are.
Polonium-210.
Stuff that's only found in Africa.
That could be interesting. Do a leaderboard of like all the insect and poisonous things. Just yeah.
The number one thing on here, and this is really interesting.
Is it from Australia?
No, it's botulism.
No. Which is used in Botox.
It's a purified version in Botox, but the botulism itself, we
refine the poison.
Well, it can be generated from leaving cans on the shelf too long.
Yeah, those expiration dates mean something.
Yeah. So I find, what is that? 1 nanogram?
The can that's bulging out is not healthy?
Oh, wait. We skipped over...
We skipped over a lot.
Really? Yeah, we skipped over a lot. But the one right before that, man, I don't know how to say this stuff.
Tetanus.
Tetanus. Yeah, it's tetanus. But tetanospasmin?
Tetanospasmin.
Thank you. Our in-house doctor here. That one's only... he does everything. That's only at 2 nanograms. So, dang. There you go.
Did you know tetanus shots were out after 10 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I did know that.
That's why you've got to get a booster. And good news is I got my booster a few years ago.
Late.
It does not kill your arm anymore. You can still use your arm after getting the shot instead of having to spend like 2 or 3 days recovering from the shot. They've improved that vaccine.
Nice, love to hear it.
Well, I'm scheduled to get mine here soon, so
this isn't. I keep taking us down these random rabbit holes, but very quickly. Has anyone seen Logan Lucky?
Never even heard of it.
Oh, that is.
Wow, Jackson added one to our watch list, guys.
Yeah, all right. I feel like with my list of 50 movies that I gotta watch, I can give you one, and Logan Lucky is that one. It's got Adam Driver, it's got Daniel Craig, it's got Channing Tatum. Heck, I don't know who else is in it. Great actors, great lineup, and it's a hilarious comedy. But
directed by Soderbergh.
Yeah,
Soderbergh.
I think we've got to build a watch list somewhere on one of our social medias. Somewhere. All these things we've talked about, I mean, they're good content, good media.
Yeah. Oh, but
offline, guys, we got to figure that out and tell everybody on the next podcast.
We should.
All right.
Like and subscribe for the next podcast.
Talking about the tetanus shot. Anybody who's seen it will know there's a little reference to tetanus shots in there. So anyway,
got it.
There you go.
And anybody that's watched Home Alone will know the importance of why you need a tetanus shot.
Step on a nail.
I still cringe every time I see that scene.
That just gave me a little shiver. I hated that.
I know.
Yeah, just a foot going down, and it
30
keeps going further than you think is possible.
Well,
Mm-mm.
do you know what the trick with that shot was? It's a layer of tar. He actually stops when he feels the tip of it press against his foot, but it's the layer of tar that makes it look like it's going deeper than it actually is.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I watch it, it just has that sympathetic effect on my foot, like ow, ow, ow. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
watch this anymore.
I kind of know that feeling.
Yep,
Oh,
I've
5
had
years
that.
later, and I still cringe at that. Jeez.
You guys ever
I was walking
seen?
around a friend's. Sorry, guys. I was walking around a friend's backyard. I stepped on a board with a nail on it. Actually, I had 3 nails. It landed into my foot. I picked my foot up, and I got a board nailed to my foot now.
Whoa.
Oh, I
You
was not
ever-
happy.
You ever seen those thorn trees? Now that is something Mother Nature went a little overboard with. Those are nuts. They got 5-6 inch like thorns, like spikes coming out of a tree, and this is Arkansas again. I was just walking around with my grandpa. There's just branches laying around, and one of them is from one of these spike trees. I just step on a branch, right through my foot. It was awful. Through my shoe, everything. That is awful. Yeah. So
Nature's
Not
not
fun.
a kind person.
uh,
Well, I can't tell you. I can't tell you how much I enjoy conversations like this. Has absolutely nothing to do with technology, other than people have used technology to figure out LD50 and all that. But
Yeah.
I definitely want to see what we got coming up next week. For all those that are watching, I think we're at the bottom of the hour. We definitely got to keep this going. We're on a march towards 100 subscribers. If we hit that mark, we're all buying microphones. So please help us get there. Not buying you guys microphones, viewers. Not doing that. Just buying our team microphones.
What if I just want a regular size
What?
phone?
No, it's only the micro. You get the tiny
Macrophone?
ones.
How about
Macrophone.
Macrophone.
Okay, Mike gets a macrophone. All the rest of us get microphones.
Would a
Guys,
microphone
ever
kind
think
of
about
be like the emergency alert systems that they have for tornadoes?
Could be. I was
Tornado
thinking
siren
along the lines
in
of
the
the
office.
sound system that Doc Brown built in Back to the Future.
That would be a microphone, yes.
Yeah.
Not at 100 subs.
Yeah.
We hit 10,000. We'll talk. Anyways, until next time, guys, I think we're going to sign off. I'm John.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jackson.
I'm present.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day.